Self-storage is big business, and one solution to our jam-packed homes.
I'm so scared what I'm going to find here.
Don't worry.
It's just crazy.
But some have taken their storage hoarding to another level.
Why? Special offer.
Clinging on to things they never see or use.
Oh, look, a cannon.
Oh, my God.
And it's costing them a fortune.
I cannot believe there's all this stuff.
I'm Maggie Mackenzie, and I'm an expert in clearing junk and people's excess baggage.
And my past has made me what I am.
Yeah, a hoarder. That's a scary thing.
I'll be asking hoarders to unlock the doors of their units,
So there's money in storage.
empty out their stash, and choose to either keep it, skip it, or sell it. Our antiques experts will then pull out any hidden gems
His original violins can fetch hundreds of thousands of pounds.
to take to auction and make some hard cash. In today's show, our hoarders unearth some questionable finds,
Did you want one of these?
get heated about what to skip and what to sell,
I feel very uptight.
but will they hit the jackpot when their gems go to auction? Wow. Welcome to Storage Hoarders. I'm in Croydon to help two very musical storage hoarders turn their possessions into hard cash when they have to keep it, skip it, or sell it. Our first hoarder is retired bookkeeper and guitarist John Pattenden, who lives with his wife Jacqueline, a primary school teacher. John spent over £6,000 in the past 3 years on his storage unit. But why does he insist on keeping everything he lays his hands on?
Oh, I have to confess, put my hands up, I'm definitely a hoarder. And if I see anything I want, I will get it.
John and Jacqueline live in the ancient port town of Winchelsea.
Many years ago, when I was just a kid, we didn't have much money then, but no one really did.
It was all trouble-free 20 years ago when John auditioned Jacqueline for his band and she got the job.
Both of us just absolutely fell head over heels, and you know, they talk about cloud nine, and I can remember definitely being on cloud nine.
But she's not on cloud nine anymore because Muso John can't throw anything away.
This is the office come music room, but there's not a lot of music going on in here. This is my desk, but unfortunately cannot use it. He will hoard, he will not throw anything away.
About 30, 40 guitars in cases.
If he sees anything in a skip, he will take it out, and well, you never know, I might need it someday.
Stands for speakers, sets of speakers.
So, yeah, this is just really an example of what I've had to put up with for years. But that's how much I love him.
I have been somewhat subjected to huge pressure to sort something out.
John, Jacqueline and daughter Elsie have faced tough times recently. John has been diagnosed with motor neuron disease and they've realised that now is the time to tackle their storage unit together.
The fact is that he has got this disease, and one of the main reasons is that, you know, eventually I'm going to be on my own. He's lightened my life a lot. I love him dearly. Sorry. But it's, yeah, very hard at the moment.
John wants to turn his possessions from his storage unit into cash to spend on his family, which he's named the John Pattenden Fund.
My JP fund will enable me to live life much more fully than I would have been able to.
Let's get the storage unit completely cleared. Let's sell some of these things, build up some funds. I can then get John out and about and really enjoy ourselves as a family. Tell me, where did those good times go?
Can I help serial hoarder John part with his treasures and bring the good times back?
So, how prepared do you feel to let go of all this stuff?
All this stuff.
Slight panic in the voice there.
I
Slight
felt
panic
a
in the
tremor.
voice.
You've realised now, because of your health, that material things aren't important.
No, not well. They're
You know,
not.
they never have been to me.
I
but
know that at one
in the
level.
scheme of things, it's...
Yeah, only for
People,
you.
not possessions.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's family that's important, not things.
I always had plans. I was forever planning to
yes,
deal with the situation.
Yes.
And out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
Even though it was a huge struggle to continue paying for the storage units.
And we've never got any money.
So thinking about some of the stuff you've got in storage, are there any items that you think that you'll never be able to let go of?
I think we had a lot of music equipment I'd
No.
accumulated over the years. I
You've
beg your
had it all
pardon.
before,
No,
haven't
I'm
you?
sorry. There's guitars in there. He must have probably... Well, we counted when we moved nearly
Over
40.
30, between 30.
35,
40.
40, yes. And these are things that he's bought, never played, never opened.
And that's one
Must
reason
have been
why.
driving you mad.
Absolutely. Totally mad.
So what are you feeling about when that door opens?
Probably a range of feelings, great apprehension. Yes, yeah. So I've got to face my demons.
I hope John can battle his demons, downsize his unit and use any money he recoups for fun times with the family. Our next hoarder in need is IT designer Mark and his uncle Clive. Mark has kept his father's belongings under lock and key for over 2 years, costing him over £1,000. So why has he hoarded so much?
My father handed down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of records, LPs, and I had to find a home for these.
Mark lives in Carshalton in Greater London and Uncle Clive lives nearby.
Hiya.
All right,
All right.
ready for this trip down
Oh,
memory
yeah.
lane then?
Yep, yeah.
Come on then.
Let's have a look, see what we've
Here
got.
we go.
When Mark's dad passed away, he inherited his 800-strong record collection. Conjuring memories of a youth spent with his dad, he couldn't bear to let them go, so he ended up putting most of them into storage.
Underground, overground,
Yeah.
wandering free.
Do you remember this?
No.
On the TV?
Yeah.
Like all organised wombles, Mark's painstakingly catalogued his dad's cherished collection of easy listening and jazz greats, so he knows what he's got stashed away.
Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes is back. It's a double album. I
You
remember
want to
that.
keep that?
I remember that from when I was a kid. Yeah, keep that one for old time's sake. Well, that's been the hardest thing. That's why I've kept hold of these for so
Yeah.
long.
No one
Because
can.
this is my dad.
No,
if
that's
I
right.
don't want to,
Yeah.
you know, you're losing that.
Mark's aware this will be an emotional trip down memory lane, but now is the time to put feelings aside and move on from the past.
I need to clear my dad's storage away and save some money and put that money towards my kids' education.
I'm hoping Mark can declutter and get rid of the stuff he's buried away for so long, but will it be as easy as he thinks?
So who's the storage hoarder here?
Mark.
Me.
Oh, it's you.
I walk past this place to work every day.
Really?
And
So
I
you
always
can't-
point at it and think, I must do something about this.
So you feel sort of quite able to let go of the stuff?
Well, that was one of the reasons why I hoarded in the first place, if you want to call it that, because the records are certainly my father's. That's all he loved music so much. I couldn't give them up. They were my father.
Yes.
So I held on to those for a long time.
Yes. You're planning on clearing the unit completely, is that right?
That's what I'd like to do.
Yes. That's what we will do, isn't it? Do you think... Now, come on, no question marks here. We've got to have some resolve.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
You're here, Clive, to help me, help Mark, get rid of the costs of it and make some money on the stuff that's in there.
Can I help Mark give up the items which bring back memories of his dad to raise some savings for his kids? We've met our music lovers who are clearly passionate about their possessions. Now it's time for them to unlock their units and face the music. Coming up, Hoarder John won't be persuaded when it comes to parting with old friends.
Oh, yummy, yummy.
Don't want to keep it.
I do.
But will our hoarders be prepared to let go when it comes to auction? Welcome back to Storage Hoarders. I'm helping two hoarders in need stop spending money on storing possessions they haven't seen or used for years. Earlier, we met musician John Pattenden, whose hoarding obsession was driving wife Jacqueline crazy.
This is my desk, but unfortunately cannot use it.
But after a wake-up call with his health, he's determined to sell his clutter and live for today. While IT designer Marc has decided now is the time to break a 2-year storage commitment and deal with his late father's collection of potentially valuable records. Later, our antiques expert will cast a discerning eye to evaluate their stash for auction. Our first hoarder to glimpse behind the steel doors of his unit is John.
There we are. I'm going to put the key in.
This will be the first time Jackie and their daughter Elsie have seen the full extent of John's storage hoarding obsession.
Oh, my goodness.
What you...
A little bit overwhelming, that, isn't it? Where do we start?
Oh, dear.
The front boxes.
John's unit is as stuffed to the gunnels as the rooms in their house.
Scale extric. No, it's not a full set.
It's not a full set, so why have we got it then?
Because I thought, oh, I might be able to get something else.
Right, OK.
Elsie might be jumping for joy, but Jacqueline looks like it's all too much for her.
That's not bad. Now, see, that's the sort of thing that you ought to hang on to.
I think I need to give Jacqueline a helping hand to push John in the right direction.
Box of Sudoku.
That's mine.
Oh, my goodness me.
This is...
Something else. John, how are you feeling?
Oh, bit sort of overwhelmed now. Oh.
Ashamed, embarrassed?
Let him see.
A teeny
No, I'm
bit
just saying
of
how I feel.
embarrassment. Thinking, oh, gosh, this is all mine. Actually, it's not all mine. They're one or two else's. OK.
This is very 70s.
Bought from a charity
Yes,
shop.
I saw that.
Yeah, oh, lots of charity shop buying.
Is that when you had slightly less cash, or you just
That's
felt
when I
that...
had some. No, that's all guitar.
That's guitar stuff.
That needs to be kept, matey.
What, a mirror?
'Cause I need to retain that.
We've only just started and you've started saying...
I have.
I want to...
Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's probably half of the guitars in here.
John's got enough musical equipment here to fill a stadium.
You got yourself a job, mate.
Roadie.
Can I leave you to carry on, please? You need to kind of speed up a
We
little.
do. We need to get
There's a
some
lot
of this
to do
stuff
here.
out.
OK?
OK.
See you later.
Off we go then,
Thank you,
Elsie.
Aggie.
I can see I'll need to rattle John's cage to keep things moving here.
I'll tell you what, every time you decide to keep something...
Oh, no. I lose my hearing.
This is the one. Let's see what we got.
Now it's time for Marc to come face to face with his unit of memories. His Uncle Clive is here to help.
Oh, yes.
Well, this is bringing back some memories.
Nice picture. I don't really remember that one.
No.
Oh,
Bionic
dear.
Eye. Used to have that.
Buried in here is the collection of records that his dad took a lifetime to pull together and which Marc has been safeguarding. But that's not the only memento from his dad.
Right.
Hello, hello,
That's
hello. How are you
heavy.
doing?
Oh, this was my dad's tools.
Oh, a lovely toolbox.
He was a turner by name and turner by trade, and he would say to me, make sure you look after these, Marc, because they were...
It's a responsibility.
It costs so much money. So this is bifocals.
Quite emotional.
Yeah. This is part of the reason why I've not been able to lose any of this, because
So personal, isn't it?
it is... What's in here? Still works, doesn't it?
Goodness.
Turns
Yeah.
the...
Yeah.
Turns that now.
Hey, I'm very excited about this. Big light phone. I know this is worth money. I know it is.
The rest is all the records, and these are the
Right.
boxes.
Oh,
All
my...
double thickness boxes, all full of records, numbered, catalogued.
Records. Oh, my goodness, that's amazing. Well, I'll leave you to get the rest of it out, and I'll
Thanks for
see you later.
Right, better get started then.
I hope I can help Marc turn it around when it's time to let go of his dad's things. To help our storage hoarders clear their units, I want them to divide their possessions into 3 categories. Keep it for those really sentimental pieces, skip it for any rubbish, or sell it for items that could recoup some cash. I've also added a charity bin. They've only got a few hours, so I want them to act with their minds and not with their hearts.
Can you put that with the keepy bits?
What do I like to keep this?
You need to keep these.
Marc's unit looks very neat and organised, and he and Uncle Clive are working well as a team.
What do you want to do with Grandad's hat?
Sell.
Sell?
While John's unit looks like the backstage at a rock concert.
Keep.
OK, Hank, Marvin.
And much to Jacqueline's frustration, John seems to be having difficulty letting go of his beloved instruments.
Oh. Ooh. Oh, yummy, yummy. Excuse me getting excited, chaps. And you might like to keep that.
I don't want to keep it.
I do. That's a beautiful guitar.
That is a lovely
I'll play
guitar.
that in the band.
Which?
Oh, dear. That's more of a reddy. This is slightly orangey, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, my gosh, that's a difficult one.
I could make the decision for you. Sell them both.
Yeah.
Keaton's leads in here.
Things are getting heated in John's camp as the full scale of his collecting habits are finally coming to light.
I mean, I'd just sell the whole lot. Well, hopefully we will. I feel very uptight at the moment about it all because I knew, you know, at the moment John's going through little things and I knew this would happen, really.
John has been diagnosed with motor neurone disease, so sorting through old memories was always going to be emotional. I need to step in and remind them why they're doing this.
Music is what brought you together, is that right?
It did, yeah. John was in a duo and they were looking for a singer, female singer, and a tape was put forward and you heard my voice and that was it, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Without even seeing her?
Yes, I said, oh, I love that voice.
And then within 5 weeks, we were together.
I can tell that you still love each other.
Oh, love each other.
Totally adore him.
Yeah.
This is why it's so hard. Come here.
Yeah.
Absolutely so hard. He's
And this
my
whole process
best
is
friend.
difficult.
He's he's part of me.
So do you still do performance stuff
Yes.
together?
Yes.
Yeah, but you can only use one guitar.
Well, this is what I was just about to come round to. Thank you, Jacqueline.
It's a 12-string John Lennon limited edition.
Yeah.
Let's go in. Sell.
It's going for sale.
Yeah.
Good.
With thoughts of recouping money to spend on the family, I'm hoping I've kicked John into action.
85.
Meanwhile, Marc and Clive are sorting through his unit very efficiently, finding plenty of old bric-a-brac for the skip pile.
Rubbish.
And Marc's also unearthed the items he's been most looking forward to seeing again. His dad's old boxes of records, neatly stacked and lovingly preserved out of respect for him.
What's it feel like going through all this stuff?
It's very nostalgic and it's just a bit of pride, really, as well. I remember my dad playing this and as you can see, you'd have all these inserts. They look as good as new. He was the one who got me into record collecting.
And if the answer was, they're pretty worthless, what would you say to that?
I'll be quite upset, to be honest with you,
Yes.
because he's always felt that they were worth,
Yes.
and this is my dad. I want them to be appreciated by someone.
I can see Marc's very protective of his dad's collection and wants the new owner to treasure them as his dad did. But while some vinyls do command high resale prices, it's a very niche market. I want Marc to get an expert opinion on the value of the collection.
I've come to talk to you, hopefully, about my dad's records.
So I've arranged for him to meet record specialist Adrian to see if they have any value.
Pretty sure that the records are going to be very nice. I don't think you have a collection as large as this one without taking care of it. If you finished
No,
it, so.
he would clean them before and after and so on.
Okay, so making sure not to actually touch the surface of the record.
Absolutely.
That's a mint condition record. I wouldn't argue with that at all.
Marc's got the condition licked, but what makes a vinyl record valuable is scarcity and genre. Particularly saleable are records from the rock greats. An original 60s edition of a Jimi Hendrix can go for hundreds of pounds. So what about demand for Marc's jazz records?
Wonderful music, but there isn't really a huge market for it. In terms of musical style, we're talking about styles which have an interest, but perhaps not the broad interest that rock, pop, soul, reggae, that sort of material would have.
It's a bit niche, isn't it?
It is a bit niche, and if I'm being impolite, I would say it's the sort of music which a lot of people are getting old. Collections are coming onto the market through deaths and the like, and a lot of people that originally bought it and were very enthusiastic about it are no longer around to appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So that's why we see a lot of this sort of material. So the collection wouldn't be for me.
It appears modern rock is much more saleable than Marc's jazz collection, so no sale here. But Marc's not deterred.
So my next step will be to try and find some jazz specialists, someone who would appreciate these records like my dad did.
I hope Marc will get lucky selling them to jazz lovers and can put the money towards a savings fund for his children. Back at the unit, Jacqueline has unearthed a timeless piece from her past.
John loves the sound of a ticking clock.
Oh,
yes. Real nice ticking clock. I saw this one in an antique shop, so I bought it for him. But unfortunately, I think I probably overwhelmed it at some point.
Overwhelmed it?
Yes, it doesn't work now, and I've actually lost the key, but it would be fantastic to
It looks sort of 30s, doesn't it? With the fan work going on there. Working again. I reckon there'd be certainly enough money from the stash to warrant this being restored. Lovely. So you will use that and love it.
Absolutely.
OK.
Yes.
I'm glad Jacqueline's rediscovered a piece that obviously means so much to them both. Meanwhile, Marc's sell pile is rising and I've got my eye on those vintage telephones.
Oh my goodness, this is an interesting looking phone. Hang on, how did the receiver go?
Wall phone. It's a wall phone. So it's up like that.
On the wall. Hey, that's fantastic. That is brilliant. I think that's going to be worth something. I really do.
Time's nearly up, and with thoughts of swapping possessions for family days out, John kicks into gear.
Those pedals sell. I'm not interested in videos.
So skip.
These are a printer cable. Sell.
Good boy. That's what I like to hear.
As the finish line approaches, I'm helping Marc and Clive dump the stuff they just don't need.
Did you want one of these?
Funnily enough, I'd need a whole set, so one's no good. Don't even waste any time thinking about it.
Time's up and Marc's done a great job. He's skipped a lot of junk and has a few key items to sell.
So now, you've emptied the unit.
I've emptied the unit. The will is there to sell and move on.
I can see that.
John and Jacqueline have also got plenty to sell. However, their keep pile is suspiciously large. Time for an Aggie intervention.
Hold on.
Just
this
here
is
is
keep.
keep.
Right.
Oh, I know.
Hold on, can I question this?
You can question it with John.
You can question that with Elsie.
No, I asked you.
She said, but I might like to use that on a game, Daddy.
Is it usable on a game?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Oh, we're getting into our bad ways again. Elsie, please. Marvellous.
It's actually quite a nice bit of kit.
The cell is over there. Elsie can put that there.
That's great. So this is sell.
All this is brand new box goods that John has bought over the years and never opened.
Yes.
So that's going to be sold.
Yes. You know what? You have really done amazingly well. I'd be going round in circles, I really would. It's so overwhelming. All the stuff with no help from Missy here.
Yeah, I thought John was going to be the problem. And in fact, I'm very proud of John. So proud of him because,
I'm proud of me. I found it very difficult, but now
I think I found it
into
more difficult than you. So, well done. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where we go from here.
I'm proud of our storage hoarders. Under difficult circumstances, they've both managed to downsize the contents of their units considerably. The next step is to see if there's any value in the pieces they want to sell. Coming up, our antiques expert makes some surprising revelations.
Jimi Hendrix's guitar from that he played in Woodstock made $2 million.
But will the shocks turn into cash at auction? Welcome back to Storage Hoarders, where I've been helping two hoarders decide whether to keep, skip or sell the contents of their units so they can kiss goodbye to their storage bills.
A little bit overwhelming, that, isn't it?
After being diagnosed with motor neuron disease, musician John decided now was the time to downsize his unit and raise money to spend on good times with the family.
Well, cruises, I think. Sounds good, actually.
So, will Gillian Anderson-Price, our antiques expert in 20th century design, find value in the pile of guitars and speakers that John's happy to sell?
So John and Jacqueline brought Gillian along to have a look at some of your stuff.
You've got all the best names, Vox, Marshall, everything is just fantastic. But you have got so many. And they're all valuable. I would love, though, for you to tell me that one of them was played by somebody amazing.
If a guitar has been played by a famous person, it can add big bang to your bucks. So Gillian wants to know if one of John's guitars has ever brushed with a rock star.
Jimi Hendrix's guitar from that he played in Woodstock made $2 million. Have you got something like that?
The Vox has been touched by Bruce Welch of The Shadows. I was told. He played through it, not on stage, but one of my friends, we were in a Shadows tribute band, and Bruce came down and played through some of the equipment. So immediately he touched it.
That's as far as it goes.
But that's about it. I've played some of the others.
Oh, great.
While John's personal touch might not affect a deal, Gillian still has high hopes for many of his instruments. The pieces she wants to take to auction are an American guitar estimated at £300 to £400, a pink Japanese guitar, £200 to £300, a Japanese guitar with sunburst design at £200 to £300, and studio-style mixers at £150 to £250. And finally, a large assortment of other guitars estimated at £3,000. Gillian's also interested in a limited edition copy of a John Lennon guitar that she thinks could have particular value.
This is a limited edition John Lennon edition.
Lennon. Absolutely.
So what does that mean
Very
exactly?
Nice. That means it's a limited edition
Is it a copy?
of its time. Oh, yes.
But it's a copy of a guitar, a
An
12-string guitar, I note.
Indeed.
Are you impressed with my knowledge of guitars?
I am very impressed. But yeah, that was of its time a very nice little guitar.
Gillian thinks a guitar expert should take a closer look at this special piece, along with some of John's other items. So she's taking the family to meet Brian Rowe. If he likes what he sees, he might make an offer. But will serial guitar collector John be prepared to part with them?
Never mind what he's got. Let's find out what you've got. In the door.
They start with his Hofner.
Very lightly built. You know, they're fantastic guitars. The Hofner factory in Germany was where all the merchant seamen and all the naval and army bases over there. This was the guitar that those army boys would have been buying, and they've been bringing back to Britain with them, going over to the States with them. For example, when Elvis was based in Germany in the war, he came back home with a Hofner. I think it was Hofner Congress he came back with, because that was the local guitar, the only kind of guitar you could buy.
That's the one.
Funny, look at the photo in there. You can't see it on the...
This is, Elvis, yeah.
The guitars that really accrue value are those made by the major companies. So John's got the right brands, but will Brian like his copy of the John Lennon guitar with facsimile signature?
It is a classic because it's a guitar that Lennon played, with the little Lennon doodle on it and his name in the limited edition and the Rickenbacker logo up here. A collectible to the Beatles boys, and there's a million Beatles collectors out there. Very collectible to them. And you've also got the reissued silver case with it as well, which is lovely, which is based upon the original late 50s.
It's the moment of truth. How much can John make on his namesake's guitar?
I would estimate myself probably selling this for about £1,500. Because it's in great condition, I'd probably pay out on this particular one about £1,100 for you.
Understood.
Fantastic.
I'm really pleased there's still value left in them.
Yeah.
I really had no idea.
But with the money, you don't buy any more guitars.
No, I was going to do a deal.
And Brian's got more good news. He's offered to buy several other of John's guitars and amplifiers, making a grand total of £3,100. Plenty to contribute to his John Pattenden fund to spend on happy moments with his family.
So he's got a lovely fat cheque for you. You can spend that with Elsie. Not on guitars, no more guitars.
Oh,
Sorry.
No more
guitars.
Thank you, Brian.
John's chose well. There's a lovely couple of wee pieces in there that a lot of people won't have. But a British rock and roll history, so it's lovely to have those.
It's been an absolutely brilliant day. Brian was fantastic, told us a lot about the equipment, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's bought them off of us.
got
we
money.
have a cheque.
And
We're
the JP fund is well on the way.
Absolutely.
Hopefully there's more where that came from as we're off to Chiswick Auctions to see how the rest of John's vast rock guitar collection will do when they go under the hammer. This isn't going to be easy for John. Both Jacqueline and Elsie know it's going to be hard for him to part with the musical memories held in his beloved instruments.
So, though you've already sold a lot of your stuff, we've still got loads left over for the auction.
Absolutely.
Which is
there's
great.
quite a bit.
And is there anything that you're particularly fond of that you're a little bit sad to see go?
Should start the other way. Is there anything like that? There are a number of things,
Yes.
Yeah, some of the guitars, Space Echoes, which were my favourite piece of studio equipment. Things like that, yeah, a real wrench.
Are you amazed that he's actually put these items up?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we haven't got there yet. He might stand up and buy them all yet, but
I've got 3 or 4 in mind.
they're not gone yet.
You're holding on to that hand. I'm holding on to this one.
Keeping that.
It's not easy, but we've got to think of, what we're going to do with the money.
Yes.
Well, that's it, and it's a
these
worry
are
out
lasting
of your
memories for us. And
a worry out of your mind.
Total worry. Yeah, it's going to give us.
So we're
extra
well
money.
on the way to changing our lives.
The auction's about to begin, but we've just time to see what auctioneer Matthew Caddick thinks of John's lots.
Obviously, their life's been immersed in music, and what we see in front of us is an insane amount of good quality musical instruments, mixing equipment, etc. I would hope that it's been picked up by people with a musical interest. There's good calibre, good names of equipment there, so I'm sure we're going to see some fresh faces today, which is always good for an auction house.
Are there any very special items in there that you think there might be a bit of a fight over?
There's an interesting pink one that people will either go for it or they won't. Strange to have a pink guitar, yeah?
Have you got a sort of ballpark figure of how much you'd like to get?
If it's over a couple of thousand, I'll be quite happy.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. We're
Extra
well
money.
on the way to changing our lives.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed.
So we're off, and the first item under the hammer is an American guitar, estimated at £300 to £400.
Number 40B, and
I feel it's going to be emotional letting go of the instruments that have meant so much to them.
got a bid here, 260, 270, 280, 290, 295 is my last. Would you like 300? £300 and selling.
Happy to see that one go?
What do you think?
£300 is within the estimate. John's sad to see it go, but he's got to remind himself it's all money towards the fund. Next up is a Japanese guitar with unusual pink lacquer body, estimated at £200 to £300.
And for this...
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Pink guitar. Oh.
230, 230 in now, 240, 250 back in, 260 next to you, 270, 270 back in. I had a feeling you'd do that. You've been 70 and we're done. 270.
270.
You could have had it to match your shoes.
I could have had it to match my shoes.
Or my suit, for that matter. £270 at the top end of the estimate. John's rocking and rolling. And he's got a lot more guitars that could make sweet music. Next up, it's the Japanese Sunburst guitar, estimated at £200 to £300.
Fender Stratocaster guitar, this time another Sunburst, and for this Japanese Fender 40J again.
Used to have a lot of money now, though. Oh, yeah, doing very well.
260, 280.
A lot of interest in this.
290 is my last, 300.
A lot of interest in
£300
this.
piece of commission to go to 310s next. £10, 320 back in, he's 320 and selling.
Elsie, happy about that? Good.
£320 above the estimate. These guitars are thundering out the door. And his next 18 lots of guitars and musical equipment rake in a further £3,055. Finally, it's time for his collection of recording studio mixers that John's lovingly collected over time and estimated at £150 to £250.
Bid away at £200, I'll take 210 in the room at £200, take 210 now. At 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300 there.
300, 310, look, this is going way above.
Bids are now well over the estimate. This is going better than John dared to imagine.
400, and 20, 440, 460, 480, 500, and 20, 560, 580. Thinking about it?
This is way
£560,
higher.
580, and £560 at the back of the room, 560. We've all done it now. 560, 160.
Brilliant.
Incredibly, John's doubled the estimate at £560. So, how do they both feel about going well over the £2,000 they were expecting?
Well, that was quite a performance, wasn't it?
That was quite exciting, wasn't
it? Yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Do you know how much the total was?
No.
Just under £4,500.
Oh, that's good.
Really?
That's good.
Yeah.
That'll cheer us up.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
John and Jacqueline have made amazing inroads, letting go of his well-strummed instruments. At auction today, they've made £4,144.60 after commission. They've raised £3,100 from sale of his other guitars at the specialist shop. And now they've got rid of their unit, saving them yearly storage of £1,944, making an incredible grand total of £9,188.60.
So can you tell me how you found the whole overall experience?
Quite mind-boggling. It was overwhelming at times because obviously this is all new to us. New
And
to
particularly
me,
new.
clearing things.
Yeah. That must have been pretty traumatic, actually.
For me, the most stressful day was actually at the storage unit. At the moment, like the shutters are open, it's like, wow.
That's right.
You know.
Does it make you feel a bit sick and panicky?
Quite ill.
Yeah.
And then the feeling goes. I feel quite
Does it?
smug.
Really?
Yeah, I feel great. I've managed to do that. And really, it's just the worry. I don't have to worry about that burden for Jacqueline, which helps me a great deal.
Absolutely.
The whole thing is monumental.
Yeah.
So remind us what this money is for.
This money is for the JP Fund,
The JP Fund.
which is devoted to getting us out and about as a family to do things while I can.
Yes.
Isn't it? So we can
do
enjoy.
things that we've not been able to do before
For a long time.
because we haven't had the money.
So thanks.
From tears on the first one, I'm smiling now.
Now, John, Jacqueline and Elsie have plenty for the John Pattendon Fund to spend on some more wonderful family times together. Coming up, our expert rings up possible sales amongst Marc's stash.
They are so cool.
But will Marc hear cash tools ringing at auction?
Not going to sell.
25, 28.
Welcome back to Storage Hoarders, where I've been helping two musical hoarders face their units and decide whether to keep, skip or sell possessions they've hung on to for so long. Earlier, passionate musician John, who has a serious illness, finally parted with his well-loved guitars, earning a considerable sum of £3,100.
The JP fund is well on the way.
Absolutely. And made over £4,000 at auction to spend on special treats with his family.
Brilliant.
Now it's time for Marc to face the music. He's preserved a stack of records and memorabilia inherited from his dad that have evoked strong memories of the past.
Oh, what a lovely toolbox.
He was a Turner by name and Turner by trade.
Marc plans to put his dad's jazz records onto an online auction site. But will there be any other items of interest to go under the hammer? Expert Gillian has had a scour and is ready to deliver her verdict, starting with the telephones I rather liked.
They are so cool, really stylish. Interior designers love them. I mean, how cool would that look in a boudoir? Really, really love them. And I think there's some money in them. I've bought and sold a lot of phones over the years.
A ringing endorsement. Now, what does she think of Marc's action figure?
A nice classic 70s toy. I think there are lots of men in their 40s that would quite like to relive that bit of childhood. And he's got his little bionic arm, which I don't quite understand what this does, but he looks cool. Oh, he's even got underwear on. Love that.
Of course, got to keep your modesty.
And you can look through his head, through his bionic eye.
We hadn't looked, had we?
What, the underwear or the eye?
The underwear.
I always look at the underwear.
It might not make big bucks, but Gillian thinks it could do well at auction, along with the Bakelite wall-mounted telephone estimated at £40 to £80. The 1960s red telephone estimated at £50. The ivory Bakelite phone estimated at £150. The 1930s black Bakelite phone estimated at £80 to £120. Marc's childhood action figure estimated at £30 to £50. And his dad's old toolbox at £30 to £50. It looks like family-minded Marc is going to finally part with his dad's cherished memorabilia and use the money as savings for his children's future. Let's just hope he doesn't have a change of heart come auction day. Well, it's the moment of truth as we're back in Chiswick to see how Marc's items fare.
How are you about selling all your dad's tools?
Yeah, I'm fine. I've taken all his personal possessions out. He had a little notebook in there where he used to make these aircraft parts, and he had his glasses, and taken those out.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to seeing being sold?
The $6 Million Man, which I should get, I would say, with a bit of luck, I don't know, 20, 30 pence, something like that.
Pounds even?
No.
Really?
I'd be amazed if it goes for anything more than £1.
Well, that'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it?
Does the auctioneer think Marc's vintage collection can fetch a bit more than his low estimate?
Bakelite telephones, this kind of retro designer features. If you go to high streets and find these items and they're polished up and converted for modern use, they can actually achieve good prices in the real world. They should sell for him today. When it comes to antique tools, collectors' chests of tools, that kind of thing, there are always buyers. They always seem to be taken up. There's also the $6 Million Man. There's an interesting market for toys. It's a very specific collector's niche, but it's an interesting item. I'd hope that we get the right people in the room for that today.
So, anything you're having second thoughts about selling at all?
Not for me.
Not for me.
Fabulous.
Not for me.
Best
Looking
of
forward
luck.
to it. Be good.
Good.
Be a good
Enjoy
day.
it.
The big question is how he'll feel when his dad's life goes under the hammer. The first lot is his ivory Bakelite telephone, estimated at £150.
It's a nice looking phone.
I know. You sad now?
We take 50 now. £50 on bid, 55 at the back, 60, 5, 70, 5.
Yes.
That's £70 on my right-hand side, 5 if you like, then at £70 and selling all done and out, 70.
That's good, I'm happy with that.
Good.
£70, under half the estimate, but Marc's not too disappointed. He also rang up some sales with his other telephones, selling the wall phone for £40, the red telephone at £30, and the 1930s telephone for £55. Next up, it's his dad's toolbox, estimated at £30 to £50, and which brings back happy memories of times together. Marc wants to see this go to a good home that will appreciate it.
Starting at £35, I'll take 38 in the room. 38 there, 40, 45, 55. You're with £55 for these commissions, 60 there, 65, 70.
Good.
That's good,
80.
yeah.
Good.
That's £75 standing in the doorway, take 80.
Yes.
That's better.
That's £75.
Yes.
Are we all done at £75?
That's about right.
Yes. 75 it went for.
And he obviously wants it. I want people to want these things.
Mark can heave a sigh of relief. The toolbox has gone to someone who'll value it. Finally, the action figure that Mark thinks is worth a good 30 pence, but that Gillian felt could have a chance at 30 to 50 pounds.
The $6 million man, number 20E.
Not going to sell.
Come on, you never know. You never
Not going to
know.
ask as much as that, but start me £30 for it. Start me £20 for it. And £20 is big, thank you, I'll take 2 now. At £20 only, 2 if you like at £20. 22, 25, 28. At £25 I'm bid there, hiding £25 then 28. Is that all of the money then at £25? Are we selling at £25 and gone? £25.
£25.
Yeah.
£25, well over Mark's 30p estimate. And he looks like he's won the pools.
So what do you think, Mark? Pleased with the results?
I'm shocked and stunned, really.
Shocked and stunned?
Yeah, because the tools I was happy with, but the real shock for me was that silly toy. Like I said, that was going to go in the bin. That was literally, we in the pile back at the storage unit, we had that, things to throw away, and that was in there. And we pulled it out and went in there, and it went for 25.
Somebody's just paid £25 for it.
I hope they enjoy it. Plenty of
They
fun.
will. I think they will. How has the whole experience been for you?
This was good fun. This is the highlight of the whole episode.
The icing on the cake.
Not only has Mark enjoyed his trip down memory lane, but he's also made £271.40 at auction after commission. He also plans to downsize his unit, and when he does, he'll make a yearly storage saving of £600. So, has he learnt anything from this experience?
All I could say is it's so easy to let these things build up and then forget about. If you've got things, just, you know, don't wait.
Yes.
Just get rid of
Do
them.
it.
Don't waste money on these things.
Yes.
Let's hope Mark follows his own advice and declutters for good.
Well, there you have it. Our storage hoarders are no longer in denial of their hoarding habits, plus they have some extra cash to put towards their dreams. Don't forget to join me, Aggie Mackenzie, next time on Storage Hoarders.